From a rotation standpoint, does this mean more time for the freshman or Matt Roth? Or?
Well, the way I look at it, like I told the staff, there's 200 minutes, and we're not gonna break this thing down. It's going to be a game by game. I would certainly expect Matt Roth to play more. If we're to answer your question specifically, I don't think there's any question that the freshmen are not being viewed as freshmen and are going to have to step up even more. And there's no doubt about that. We need a more consistent Derek and Tom, potentially Bobby, and I think you'll see more of Dan Moore. But I thought that anyways. I thought we'd start to play more of Dan Moore, especially because of the energy and the speed that he brings. And I'm not sure you can shorten your rotation in this league as much as the other ones in this league can. I think we've got to continue to have fresh bodies and try to be on the attack as much as we can.
Wisconsin, it seems like they never have maybe the blue chip guys, but they always reload year after year after year, and always are one of the top teams in the Big Ten. I mean, just talk about.
Well, their balance is fantastic in a lot of reasons. They have the balance of inside-outside, but they have the balance of ages. They never run out of leaders there. They're always grooming somebody for the next position, and that was certainly going on when Dick Bennett was there, and even Brad Soderberg, and then Bo was taking it to another level with that. But they've always had the luxury to be able to redshirt. They've always had the luxury to have the key positions, the inside positions, and certainly the point guard position, be able to learn. And he never has had to play a guy before he was ready. And I think that really pays off for them down the road. And they really understand what he wants because they've been there for so long.
How good of a fit is Lord for what they do?
Oh, he's outstanding. But I mean, I think they all become fits for what he wants to do, or I don't think they make it there. And I think that's one thing that he's such a good coach at. I mean, he's going to put guys and fit them into his system, and he recruits that way. And they are a true system, maybe as much a true system as there is in college basketball. And they have very talented guys, and certainly what he's done a great job. He's running more and more ball screens over the last couple of years because he has the ability to space his big men out like John and Keaton Nankiville to be able to shoot baskets. I mean, or shoot the ball from deep range. He really doesn't put anybody on the court that can't make shots, and that's the luxury of being able to build that system over a period of time and allow guys to grow into it.
I know you touched on this before, but what's the balance with Jordan Holes looking for shots / running the offense? How do you balance?
There is no balance. It's really whatever happens inside of it is what we want to have happen. You know, the one thing we can continue to try to do is manufacture more opportunities for Jordan, and that's what we're going to continue to do. But Jordan's baskets and Jordan's value really comes in the flow of the game. And the old adage, I mean, we like to have him get lost in the game. Well, we don't want him to get too lost. And sometimes he allows himself. A great example, the other night, first play, I think it was, there's an offensive rebound. It's kicked out to him. That is a no-brainer. Take that shot. But what does he do? He passes it to the top to start the offense. That's the kind of stuff that he needs to eliminate in his mind, because the only guy that is not thinking about taking that shot is Jordan, in the sense of we need him to do that. So he's being more aggressive, and I see it in practice. And I don't worry about that, but I don't want to have games where he's not taking shots in the first half. I don't think that's good. I don't think it's good for us. It's not good for him, and it's not good for our winning percentage. So when you're shooting that high a percentage, but that's kind of who he is naturally. I mean, he wants to get the ball to other people. He really does. I mean, we could sit out there and run the Steve Alford screens the whole game, and I'm not sure he's going to take that many more shots because that's just not what his mindset is. And we've got to allow him to be a focal point without really trying to drive that home all the time to him, because I don't want him. I just want him to play and be comfortable.
How much of a difference have you seen this week in practice after getting that first Big Ten win?
Well, I don't think there's much of a difference from right now. It's more of a carryover, and that's what the demands are. Any ounce of slippage this week has been addressed abruptly and directly, and they need to understand that they need to play like that consistently. Our biggest problem has not been about players getting better. It's been about players getting tougher. And you can't take the next step until your players are getting tougher constantly. And we're trying to make sure that that's happening inside of these practices. Now, The toughness part of it is mental as much as it is the physical part, and that's the carrying it over into the games, and that's what we did. You know, we had a great week of practice. We had a pretty good week of practice before Northwestern and Minnesota. We just didn't carry it over inside of the game as much. And whether it's maturity, whether it's mental toughness, confidence, whatever it is, those things, it's there, and we just need to bring it forth.
Players talked about how they came out lackadaisical at Northwestern, came out with good energy against Michigan. How do you keep their heads on straight so they come out with great energy against Wisconsin? You
mean in the sense of them being overconfident?
Well, just coming out, because they talked about how they didn't come out with the right energy in Northwestern.
Well, I don't know if it was that as much as they weren't ready for the onslaught that Northwestern brought. You know, we weren't as good in transition defense, and they didn't feel us on some of those shots. I mean, when you're playing a team like Northwestern, you've got to be, you've got to, it's almost like you need to have about 5-6 cups of coffee before you go out there. I mean, you've got to have that kind of anxiety and nervousness. You've got to be constantly moving because that's how fast they're making their cuts. And we did not do a good job of that. We're not really changing anything. I know that sometimes that may sound like it's not true, but it's not. There's not a lot of differences. Last week we were able to really lock into some weaknesses a little bit more, and at the expense of spending time on offense, we spent a lot more time on transition defense, a lot more time on making sure we're getting 50-50 balls. We did the same thing today. You know, we're doing loose ball drills out there. I mean, it's not. We're not going to change that, and because the game the other night was a step in the right direction for bringing your practice mentality to the game. Now we got to do it on the road in front of a hostile crowd, and I'm excited. As much as I'd like to be home, you know, tomorrow night, this is going to be a great test for those guys to see if they can carry over that mindset that they've been practicing with and what they played Saturday night with to a road venue.